Typical. Typically.
Yeah. Okay, we're live.
We're live. Okay, here we go. Well, hey there, fangirls and fanboys. It's episode 114 of the Electric Fan Cave on electricfeast.com. Kristen Latterell here, along with Corrigan Vaughn, and we are ready to nerd out hard with you guys. It's been a bit of a week, but we have managed to find some bright spots to bring you, like Eddie Redmayne's adorable PSA, a sneak peek of the new Anne of Green Gables, the first trailer for Emma Watson's live-action Beauty and the Beast, and the newest Wonder Woman trailer, because we haven't gotten to gush about it yet. Also, we saw Doctor Strange, and we'd like to tell you about it, and we are actually very excited about People's Sexiest Man Alive this year. So sit back, settle in, and take a little break with us.
Yes. I'm so glad.
Yeah, Corey.
So glad there are good things for us to discuss this week. Man, do we
Me
need
too.
it.
You need it, you guys.
I just got back, pardon me, from Canada. So...
Canada. Oh, Canada, a home and native land. I can't do the tune, so I'm going to stop there because it is horrific.
Fun fact, Laddie's fella promised her that she could listen to Hamilton in the car with him if she memorized Oh Canada before a hockey game that we went to last week. So obviously, yeah.
Obviously, I did.
Did it? So you sang it when we were during the actual national anthem, and he counted it. He was like, "This is fine. You did your job."
Yes, yeah. He said that counted. So we went to Palm Springs this weekend, and so I got to listen. And so I was like, "Oh, you know what we're listening to? Hamilton." And he was like, "Well, we're gonna break up, so we're not going anymore." And I was like, "No,
what have I done?"
Not how it works.
No, sir. If you're breaking up with me, we're listening to this first.
Yeah.
So, and what did he think?
Yeah. So anyway, it was fun. Yeah, he didn't like it, obviously, but he doesn't like He doesn't like musicals, so it's not, whatever.
Whatever,
it's
Brian.
Fine.
Nobody asked you, Brian.
Whatever. He's done. Yeah. Damn it, Brian. So anyway,
that's always fun. So, yeah, but we did last week, in light of the election that I'm sure you can all imagine we're not super crazy about the results of that.
What?
What? Bananas. I've been listening to this show for 3 years, and I had no idea.
What do you mean? We haven't been intermittently crying for the past week.
No, that's insane. Please, come on. What? So we did the day after, in our sort of election hangover mode, go to the movies. I don't know if you're always this way, Kristen, but I'm 100% a movie escape person. Like, if I'm like stressed out, if things are like just like I can't like handle life, going to the movie theater is like my thing.
Yeah. I don't know if it's my thing, but I do.
It's amongst your things.
Yeah, it's like it's like a
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So that was midday messaged Kristen, and I was like, hey, can you like ditch out and go see Doctor Strange? Which I wasn't like super excited about. I don't know, Kristen. We haven't talked about it a whole lot. That's how you know we weren't excessively enthusiastic about it.
It looked very trippy. Like, I don't know, just the concept of it was like, I don't know. Honestly, I can't even tell you why I wasn't excited. I love Benedict Cumberbatch.
Well, I think like you said afterwards, you were like, it looked very serious, and I think that was part of it is I was like, I don't know if I want to go see like a serious superhero movie, like, and then it was kind of great.
I really enjoyed it. My friend who works here, she called me yesterday and she's like, so do you think, she's like, I need your opinion. Is it worth it to see Doctor Strange? And she was finishing to say in the theater. And I was like, yes.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Go see.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Sorry. In the theater. Yes. Also, but go see it.
Anywhere you can see it.
Like, really? Yeah. And same thing. I was like, I thought it was going to be so serious. I'm like, but it was actually like really funny. And he was really funny. I don't know why this surprises me so much, because anytime he's like a normal human, he's just so wonderful. So, and so I was like, yes, go see it. And it was like, while some parts actually were almost hard to watch because it was so like mind bendy, I actually did have to, well, some people probably would recommend you see it in 3D. Obviously, I hate 3D anyway, but I can imagine it making me feel very nauseous because there is a lot happening. But it looks really cool.
Went and saw it in IMAX 3D yesterday, and he was like, totally worth it. And I was like, really? I almost threw up a couple times.
Yeah, yeah. I had to close my eyes a couple of times. Like, I was definitely like, that part at the end when they're kind of having that big like last sort of thing with all the guys and they're like running through the and the things are all whatever. I don't want to give anything away. Yeah, that was my vaguest way.
That's anyone who's seen it, that actually makes sense as an explanation without actually telling you anything about what happens.
Saying anything. But I had to close my eyes during that part because I'm like, I actually think and I ate too much popcorn, so that's
we went a little overboard. It was
we went a little overboard on the.
I have an AMC like membership card, the Stubbs card or whatever, because there's an AMC a mile from my house. And like I said, when I get stressed, that is the thing that I do. I'm probably going to go see Ouija later on today. But so I have this Stubbs card, and thus if you buy a popcorn or a drink, they give you the next size up. And so Kristen wants popcorn, and they just hand her the full bucket, like straight up, just giant bucket of popcorn.
Yeah.
Which I didn't eat any of, and you did make a pretty good dent on. So.
I did a really good job. And I also dumped like half of it into the box so I could get a good butter ratio like through all of the popcorn, although those of you who are like popcorn aficionados.
It was like expert level popcornery.
Tom has taught me well, you guys. He does not mess around when it comes to movie theater popcorn. So
no, go ahead.
Anyway, so that in addition to the mind bendiness, wasn't feeling super hot at that point in the movie.
So much.
So, but it was
too many stimuli. Yeah, it's super fun. It's weird, but I don't think I ever adjusted to Benedict Cumberbatch's accent per se.
Oh, I did. I was all in about it.
Never did. The thing is, like, it's not. He doesn't have a bad accent. It's just one of those ones where, like, you've never heard a human who sounds like that. Like, you're like, it's not that it's not an American accent. It's just like, it just doesn't quite sound like someone actually talks. And it's Benedict Cumberbatch, so you expect a certain like voice to come out of him, and you're like,
yeah. That was more what it is. It's like whenever Hugh Laurie talks, I'm like, no. Like, that's not how that works, even though that's
not your voice. Like, you actually are English, but that cannot be your voice.
Or I had a harder, honestly, I ended up being able to get sucked into the accent. I was like fine with it because the one I had a hard time with when we watched The Guest, and I could not get past not Matthew. Dan
I know,
Stevens'
I always want to call him
accent. And that one I really had, I don't know why. I feel like because not only, I think it was multiple things. One, he wasn't in period garb. And then also he had an American accent. And then also it was Southern. And also he was crazy. And I was like, no.
It's like, too many things. So many things, Matthew. Calm down. Back up off a little bit.
I couldn't compute them all. So I feel like Benedict's, when he was Doctor Strange, it was like, he was being an American, but he was still very like,
he's still...
Which I still imagine Benedict Cumberbatch being in my mind.
No, totally. And it's, again, it doesn't take away anything from it. I mean, I had a great time. Totally. I super enjoyed the movie in ways I was not expecting to. Laughed a lot more than I was expecting to. Was just really... I mean, other than that one thing of being like, that's not how Benedict Cumberbatch is supposed to sound, 100% sucked in. So if you're looking for, a good escapey movie to go see... This is really good. And honestly, I think it's one of the better Marvel movies. I don't think it's just like for what it is. I think it actually, stands up and holds up in a really good.
It's definitely better than I could definitely, I mean, not this is going to make it sound like I didn't like it, but there are worse Marvel movies you could see.
Yes, there.
But that's not taking away from this one. This one was great. I really liked it. So if you want
yes.
And then also, well, just really quick, even though I know we can spiral into like Hamilton whispers, really quick, the mixtape also came out and we got 2 songs. And then last week, due to the stress of life, we got 2 more songs that were both absolutely amazing. So if for some reason you live in a hole and you don't know what Hamilton is, or if you love Hamilton but also live in a hole and haven't downloaded the mixtape, pre-order it because you get songs for free.
Yep. Exactly.
And they're magical, and they are like so appropriate. Immigrants is so appropriate. It's mind-boggling.
As I was listening to these songs and everything, one of the things I was thinking about was that, like, there's a lot of, with anything that's popular, people have to come along and critique it or whatever. And Hamilton has been one of those kind of largely untouched things because everybody kind of likes it. But I have seen some of those sort of like scholarly liberal critiques of Hamilton that talk about how its success lies in it being sort of inoffensive and washing over, a lot of things about these founding fathers that were, why they weren't heroes and things like that. Which, for one thing, I'm always like, if you actually, watch/listen to it, you will see that it's not about just hero worship, but whatever the case may be. But between things like watching Hamilton's America on PBS, and then listening to a song like Immigrants on the mixtape, there's so much like force in that, or just following Lin-Manuel or any of the other cast members on Twitter or things like that. As people who love Hamilton do, you don't just enjoy the musical and that's it. You're usually in the whole fandom. You really get to like see those sort of the like strong critiques of our government, of people's terrible worldviews, these challenges to the status quo in America and so forth, that I think is so important. So, I was like listening to this and just thinking like, this is what Hamilton is about. It's not just about hero worship or anything like that, or making it seem like our country is wonderful and exceptional and never does anything wrong, but instead is this very complicated portrait and a very sort of clear critique of many things, while also being just awesome to listen to.
Indeed.
Indeed.
Madame.
I'm obsessed with Sia on it.
Oh, gosh.
Doing Satisfied with Queen Latifah. And is it Miguel that's also on
Miguel. That? Yeah, it's Miguel. But it's just, whatever. I'm not even going to try. If you like it, you like it. Some people, you don't. So fine, whatever. Do you. But you should like it. If you don't, you're dumb. Just kidding. You're not. But you kind of are. Anyway, also, really quick shout out before we move on to the next thing that I really want to talk about. We want to do a quick shout out to our buddy Matt Vest, who had his 100th episode this week, which was super exciting. So congratulations, Matt. If you guys haven't, it's Matt Vest, or haven't heard of it, it's Matt Vest versus his friends. It's a friend, he's a good friend of ours and podcast buddy.
Yes.
And he has got a couple of co-hosts, and they did their 100th episode. And actually, I think it was on Facebook Live. So if you check out his Facebook at Matt Vest versus his friends, you can find the video, and you can kind of listen along and see what they did and chat it about. But anyway, congrats, Matt. You're awesome.
Congrats, Matt. Big milestone. It's not easy to make 100 episodes of something, you guys.
It's not. It's not easy to make 114 episodes of something.
Not
so
easy to make 114. That's for sure.
Anyway, and then something happened last week that we were going to talk about, but then we didn't. And so we're going to talk about it now. And it was the new Wonder Woman trailer.
Sorry, one more thing.
No, we're not going to do that yet.
No, it was just, while we were on the shout outs, things like that. I just want to say sorry, Melanie, that we have not eaten your delicious snacks yet. We are not in the same room in which to do so. But we will. We will just, maybe, you know what, Kristen, what we should do is make it a Facebook Live video and then podcast it. Because, we'll hang out and then we can eat them together, enjoy them.
Nice. Good call.
And then we can put them on here. And sometimes Melanie can actually watch our Facebook Live things because of the hours. So there's that. Nice. So Melanie, we will eat your snacks soon. The little crunchy bits of them that are left over after the mailman apparently smacked a wall with them and whatnot. We will do
Happens.
That. Okay, now let's talk about Wonder Woman.
Okay, gosh. Go, you guys. Wonder Woman trailer, new one, happened about a week and a half ago, I think, at this point. Actually, I don't remember. Corey, thoughts?
This was such a glorious thing. Also, this was on the big screen right before Doctor Strange. So day after the election, while Kristen and I are sitting there moping and being sad and hating life, this comes up on the screen. And it's just, the power. There's so much, it's overwhelming to watch, her and sort of the way they so far are showing the relationship between her and Chris Pine's character, and how it's sort of centering a lot of the other women in this, you know, that it's not just, we're not just going to see a movie where it's Wonder Woman as the only woman character who has anything to say and the only strong woman anywhere. We're going to see a movie that's full of strong women, that's full of, you know, sidekicky women, that's, you know, got all kinds of different sorts. And that was like, just, I don't know, it's kind of a nice, inspiring moment to watch, and also just looks like it's going to be awesome as well.
Yeah. Yes. I loved it so much. I just was like, I couldn't handle how much I loved it, because again, it had that same thing, and it was like that. So you remember from the first trailer when she, you know, was going to do something vague that we don't know yet, and he, you know, Chris Pine is like, I can't let you do this, and she kind of looks at him like, what I do is not up to, like, what an absurd notion that you're telling me what to do, right? So she goes like, what I do is not up to you. Which is like, I loved, best thing ever.
Yeah.
That spirit, I thought, carried on into this trailer when there's that scene when they're all in the trenches, and he's like, and he's like yelling at her, and she's like walking up, like, it's as if he wasn't there at all. You know, and it's like completely ignoring him. And walks out into, you know, no man's land in the middle of this battle, and is, you know, as bullets are coming, and it's like, and that scene in the alley when she's like, ding, 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 and I'm like, what is going on? Like, my heart was so full. It was so full. And I loved it. And I also still think it looks beautiful. The scenes from the island, like when he kind of first arrives, and the world that they've created there is great. And I love her costume because they kept the color. I think we probably actually have already talked about this, so I probably shouldn't go into it too much, but I love it. I just love it. I love everything about it. I can't. I don't even, it's hard to process. And they had those. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that our friend actually got to go see Wonder Woman a couple weeks ago. They do these things where, you know, you are on lists and stuff like that, and they'll call you out and be like, hey, come see this screening. We're not going to tell you what it is, but, you know, we need a test audience for this. And then you find out once you're there what it is. So like a week before, they'd gotten to see Passengers, which I'm also very jealous of. But they saw Wonder Woman, and I get these excited texts from our friend that are just like, oh my God, you're going to love it. It's so great. Like, it's everything you want it to be. Like,
it has to be.
It has to be. We are counting on this, you guys. We need Wonder Woman to be everything we wanted it to be. And so to have him, someone who knows my taste very well too, knows our taste very well, be able to, you know, say like, no, you're going to be very happy with the result of this, is like, oh, thank goodness. Oh, thank goodness.
I need a paper bag to breathe into, you guys. It's going to be great. Yeah. I was going to say the posters that they released that are like, current. And I'm like, oh, yeah. It's so good.
And
they're amazing. If you haven't watched it, watch it. And then you can also be as cranked up to 11 as we are. Yeah. And actually, what's fun about this episode is we have some really badass ladies to talk about, because not only did we get a Wonder Woman trailer, but we got a sneak peek into the remake of Anne of Green Gables, which is a little bit on the opposite side, I think, of what people think of when they think of strong women, because we think people think they have to be fighters.
Right.
Where I would call Anne Shirley a fighter, but not
a warrior.
In the way that most people think. Not a warrior fighter, but definitely a fighter. And just a beautiful, like, soft spirit, which I just love.
Yes.
And so they released, so what was it, like a 10-minute clip?
10 minutes, like the opening 10 minutes of PBS's
opening 10 minutes.
Green Gables.
And so if you haven't, if you know anything about Anne of Green Gables, it's the part when Matthew goes to pick Anne up and gets there and realizes that it's a girl and not a boy, and he's very disappointed, but he takes her anyway. And she's like, you know, on the way back, and she's kind of talking to him and just like going on and on about the senior. I mean, she just like doesn't stop talking almost the entire ride back. And you just get this idea, and it's beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful. It captures the St. Edward's Island like you always imagine, and like it did in the old one.
Yeah, I was a little worried when it first started and it had that very like dark scene in the train and everything. I was like, oh, please don't tell me this is how they're going to do this Anne of Green Gables, because you need all of that, you know, glorious rolling hill stuff. But clearly they were making a contrast from where, you know, she was coming from to where she was coming headed. From. Right. But like, honestly, I think even before he picks up Anne in this, and they just show him like trying to get ready for the day and like the women in town, you know, talking, and then him like landing with a face full of, you know, horse stuff and all this kind. Like, yeah, the whole tone of it felt like what I expect and want from Anne of Green Gables. It was like what it looked like, the beauty of the setting, the characters, immediately you get who they are. You know, it takes nothing more than that opening 10 minutes for you to understand exactly like who these people are that you're going to be dealing with for the rest of this series. And well, like, you know, this girl playing Anne is not Megan Fellows, but she's still, I think she captures the spirit in a good way.
I think she had the whimsy that I always think of when you think of Anne Shirley. And I don't remember who it was. It might have been Alex, who commented that Matthew was a little too chatty, which if you read the books or if you watch the old movies, but I think Matthew probably says a total of like the entire time he's on, you know, so but I didn't really super care because I still felt like he was awkward like Matthew was. And so the fact that he was a little more chatty didn't super bother me a ton because I still felt like I had the tone, and it's Martin Sheen. So I'm like,
Martin Sheen, you can't waste him. You have to use Martin
you can't. I know. And it's that voice that is like there's something about it. And I don't know if it's because he was the president for so long on West Wing. I know that's not it for you, but for me, I'm like, there's something about those dulcet tones. I'm like, give them to me.
Yep.
I'll take them. So
yeah.
So we're excited. I'm excited. I think we were all a little hesitant because we love the old one so much, and so we're like, oh no, like you want it to be good, but you are like worried. And so I think it's going to be really great, and I think it'll be a fun update.
Now here's my question: is there a separate one that's coming out for Netflix other than this PBS one?
I thought they were the same.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Are they not?
I hadn't Googled. I hadn't had a chance to Google it. I thought about it and was like, wait, what? Because I saw someone say something about the Netflix one, and then I remembered that I was like, I thought before they put it out, they were going to put the old one on Netflix, and they haven't done that. And so I was like, is this?
I thought I don't know. I can't. That would be weird.
Yeah, that would be a strange choice, but
yeah. I thought they were all the same.
Okay, that would make sense. But I mean, it would be odd to do that, but now I'm Googling to see if it's Anne of Green Gables. So. Netflix picks up adaptation. Let's see here.
I guess look to see who's in it.
Anne of Green Gables series from maybe one or more. It doesn't seem to say. It says CBC. Nothing about PBS. Oh wait, no. I'm curious here.
Well, when you Google, when you put it into IMDb, the only one that comes up is this one, and then then like the old one with Megan Follows. So
okay, good. That feels good. I don't know. It comes up as if it's two different things on here, but no, wait, it is two different things.
Oh, it is?
Yep. Yeah. So this is an Anne of Green Gables movie. That they're making.
So this isn't
right. And then Netflix and CBC. Yeah, this version is unrelated to the upcoming Netflix and CBC co-production, an 8-episode series to be written by Emmy winner Moira Walley-Beckett from Breaking Bad and directed by Nikki Caro of Whale Rider. So that series is set to debut on both CBC and Netflix sometime in 2017. So we get double the Anne of Green Gables. Yeah.
Okay. Well, what do I know? Good thing you didn't listen to me. I just was assuming. So don't do that. Look what happens.
Well, that's interesting. And I mean, it's one of those things that I'm like, it'll be interesting to see how they do it. But because there's so much to the Anne of Green Gables story, it's not like there can only be one.
Well, yeah, and maybe this is actually just Anne of Green Gables, because remember it's like Anne of Avonlea and those other ones. Yeah. So maybe the other one will actually stretch out through her whole life, whereas this will just be that first.
Right.
Anyway, cool. All right. Well, great.
This one I was so pleasantly surprised by. I hope that I am also going to be pleasantly surprised by the Netflix one.
By the other one.
Yeah.
So, yes. Anyway, and then moving on, we'll go on. We also got a first trailer for the new live action Beauty and the Beast, which we've been waiting for. We don't count the fake teaser one. I don't count teaser trailers. So full actual like trailer where you get the
teaser trailer, but yeah.
Do anything. This gave us something good. It gave us talking. And it gave us talking. And then like that opening the bars when it's like, doing that the song, which I just love so much.
Yeah. I saw that someone had posted like a side by side of the like original trailer for the animated one and with this one, but I haven't watched it yet to see, how they align at this point. But it's pretty cool if they did try to make.
What did you think?
I'm excited. But I mean, here's the thing: it's like with Beauty and the Beast, because it's not changing the story. It's just kind of giving you like, here's what it's actually going to look like. And so I'm excited about what it's going to look like. I totally forgot it was Matthew, what's his name? Dan Stevens.
Dan Stevens.
Why does he have to have an equally white guyish name? That's the problem. I'm like, I don't know, that guy, Matthew.
I don't think we can blame him for that.
That's not his fault. I'm sorry, Dan. I totally forgot it was him. And I was like, I know that there's someone famous playing Beast in this. And then Luke Evans is Gaston, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And I was like, clearly I'd forgotten who everyone was in this. So when I saw him, I was like, oh yes. Okay. For that. I think the one thing that I was like, it will take getting used to for me was the animation of Mrs. Potts. So when they showed like her face on the cup, did you catch that? I was like,
Wait, whose face?
Mrs. Potts.
What? Yeah.
Yeah.
When they showed her face?
Yeah, her on the teacup. I mean, not on the teacup, on the pot. Yeah. Yeah. That will take getting used to for me because it's not like, it's just like a drawing that moves on her face. I wasn't totally sold on that. I'm not going to lie.
Okay. I guess I didn't really. They're all kind of like that, though. I mean, what's his face? Cogsworth doesn't even have a face. When he came here, it just looked like the clock was talking.
Right, yeah. I guess that's the tricky part, is that I hadn't really thought about, like, what are they going to do in terms of, like, animating the way that inanimate objects are going to speak, And so that was I was like, it'll take getting used to. I'm not against it. It's just going to take some getting used to for me. That's all.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts, Kristen?
Yeah, I was excited. I thought it looked really cool. That was one of my favorite. It was one of my favorite things about the new Cinderella. Like I said, that they weren't trying to reinvent the wheel. They weren't trying to make Cinderella into a warrior or whatever.
Right.
Like they tried to, like they did with Snow White. Like they made Snow White, whatever, that terrible monstrosity. And so, but it just like visually was beautiful. The colors, it was just gorgeous. And so I was similarly excited in this, where I thought it looked really cool. Yeah. I thought the castle looked great. They didn't give us a ton other than that. Although, I don't know if did you see the articles about they are making a little bit of a plot change. Did you see that?
Oh, no, I didn't. So did it say what? Or actually, it's just like vaguely?
Okay. Yeah, no, it did. Actually, because I follow, oddly enough, is because I follow Gal Gadot on Twitter, and she posted, her Women Crush Wednesday was Emma Watson, because Emma's, I guess, one of her problems with the original was like, what does Belle do with her time other than read? Like, what does she do? And so apparently in this one, this version will see Belle as an inventor also.
Oh. I did notice at some point, actually, I did think, and I don't know exactly what it was that happened in the trailer. I couldn't pinpoint it, but there was a moment where I went, it looks like she's doing something. Like, I was like, it looks like she is actively like somehow involved in this plot in a way that she really wasn't in the original.
Right. So before, when she just kind of like walked around and read. So in this one, I'm sure that's still part of it, where she loves to read and she's a learner and stuff, but she's also an inventor, and this they've made her. So, and apparently at Emma's kind of suggestion, which I thought was fun.
Yeah, that's definitely
kind of a fun. Yeah, that'll be a kind of a fun change, and I don't know. I'm excited. Obviously, I think it looks really great. I'm like all about the live action versions of these movies because I loved the original so much.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be fun.
I'm into it.
I'm excited.
I'm 100% into it. My only thing is that, again, it'll take me a minute to get into the anime. I'm like, no, I was super there.
And sometimes I feel like those are, I mean, it doesn't come out until March or something. So that sometimes I feel like you even get surprised like that.
Yeah.
To change.
Sort of thing from Batman. Yeah. Understandable. Apologies.
So we have that, and then we're very excited because something that we've been waiting forever is coming out this weekend. So Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them comes out tomorrow, technically Thursday.
Yes.
We have tickets to go see it on Sunday, so we will give you our full recap next week. But we're super pumped, and so as always, you get the lovely cast who goes around and does their little interviews and stuff. And Eddie Redmayne has done absolutely incredible PSA.
Yes.
And it's about being a Hufflepuff, and he's talking about people always think Hufflepuffs are, what does he call them, beige, and before he's like, but when I and he's like getting all teary eyed, and it's this like very emotional PSA. He's like, but Hufflepuffs are loyal, and he's like, got this.
He like starts too with this like he's like very sort of like subdued, and he's like, oh, I'm a Hufflepuff, and then he's like, no, I'm a proud Hufflepuff.
Yeah.
Like, what?
It is just I mean, it's like 30. It's a commercial essentially, so it's like a a more type of deal.
Yeah, very short little clip.
It is just magical. You need to watch it because it's just perfect. It's absolutely perfect. And then at the end, he's really great. He just like
is a Hufflepuff.
The Rock is also, which is amazing because I had to retake the test on the new Pottermore, and I am also a Hufflepuff. Did you know?
True. That is very true. So you're in good company.
I can claim that. Apparently, The Rock.
Yeah. I mean, you can't do much better than that.
I mean, if that's even true, who knows? They could have just made that. But I'm gonna go with it for now. So
good about it.
Anyway, but we're excited. So we're super stoked for the movie. Obviously, it comes out this week.
Wait, Kristen. I can't wait.
Yeah,
I'm just so excited to finally see this movie. These trailers have been so great and so magical, and I need it in my life. So I'm very excited that we have made a plan and are going to see this weekend.
So it's going to be great. We're doing that. So like I said, we will keep you posted on how that goes. But speaking of The Rock, fun news this week that he has been named People's Sexiest Man Alive, joining the ranks of some very sexy men. And I can't think of any of them right now. Who won last year? One of the Chris's. Was it Hemsworth?
It was a Chris.
Did Hemsworth win this? Was it Hemsworth last year or Pine?
I don't remember. I'm not sure.
It wasn't Pratt, right? We were joking that we thought it was going to be.
Yeah. That's I don't super keep track of the sexiest man alive. But this time we care because it's amazing. And he's obviously like super funny about it. Oh,
and
no.
It's great.
It was Chris Hemsworth was 2014. Last year was Channing Tatum.
Oh, well, whatever. What do we know?
Yeah, well, there you go. I do remember that happening. Now that you mention it.
I mean, it sounds like it's something that would happen. So I guess I remember that too. But
it's
anyway.
Rock Johnson.
It's Dwayne. And couldn't you think of anyone more deserving? Like, who's more adorable and wonderful and beautiful than The Rock? So he's having such an on fire years plural. If we're gonna be honest. And so So congrats, Rock.
Yeah, and with Moana coming out, so he's already on the press circuit right now, which is wonderful, and I've been enjoying so much of the coverage of that. It also brings in Lin-Manuel, which is always a good thing. But he's been everywhere, and he's just, I think the picking him for this kind of thing kind of embodies all the things that we do want to value about people. So you have someone who came up from a really rough sort of upbringing, made good. He, inspires people through hard work, really is all about the grind and everything, and trying to make people's lives better, and just being sort of a really kind of positive human being on every level, he's just all of that, inside of his nicely pressed suits and everything that he always wears, on top of it. He's just a genuinely very good person. which is great. And as I think we mentioned this like last week or something, but one of the great things about The Rock is that like he's not humble about, or like he's not he's gonna accept it and be like, yeah, cool, sweet, that's me,
he's like all in it, like in it to win it.
Yeah. And but also, while like, I mean, I think saying not humble makes it sound like someone is like egotistical, though. I think he's kind of grounded in like, how he got to be the guy he is and what it took to be that.
Yeah, and I think he knows that
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's a confidence because he knows he put the work in, and he knows like, hey, I've worked hard to get here. This isn't something that someone's handed to me. I mean, Sexiest Man Alive aside, because that is something that people just kind of give.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but that's arbitrary.
All the stuff. Yeah, that's not what I meant when I'm talking about his accomplishments as a whole. The stuff that he's done, he really has like worked his butt off, and it's it's I don't know, it's fun to see someone who's like really enjoying what they're doing and enjoying all of the different projects and all those sorts of things. And yeah, I just think he's just a delight, an absolute just delight, the things that he gets to do. And I'm actually like, it's funny, I'm excited for Moana because I think it looks really cool, and
it's at 100% from critics so far on Rotten Tomatoes. So.
Yeah, and so I'm aside the fact from that, the more that I hear him talk about like how much it means to him that they approached him and was like, hey, we have this movie about like your heritage and like what, like this is like a part of you and like where you come from, and like it would mean a lot, if you would be in it.
Yeah.
For him to like, anytime he talks about it, it's almost like he's like getting emotional. Like this is like something I'd really want to do, like a passion project where it's people like, oh, you see this big buff guy walking around. But in reality, he's like so proud to be a part of something that, is so personal.
Agreed.
Which has been cool. And so that makes me even more excited. And the fact that they cast him and that they cast like a no-name girl from Hawaii. Like, so great, which I love so much. I think we've talked about that of, those giving people who it's actually their story a chance to tell their own story in kind of a fun and unique way. So, and he's so sweet, like about her too.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And that's, I think that was what we were talking about last time, because we had brought a clip of him that we were discussing, and how much he was really throwing it to everyone else who was involved. And I think that's one of the important things too, is when you get to that level of fame, that level of success, that you don't have to make things about you all the time. I'm always when you're on like Twitter or Instagram or something like that, and like a famous person is just like perpetually name dropping or posting photos with their like famous friends, and not in a way that you're just like, oh, they were hanging out, but in a like, that was like clearly posed and they want you to know they know each other, that kind of thing. And that like level of, I'm always like, why do you do this? You don't, like, you're famous already. It's fine. You get that, famous people. And so when you have someone like The Rock, who he's, super, super famous and everything. And yes, he has a ton of famous friends, but he's also spending so much of his time actually like, raising those people, elevating the, people who he can help out. Like, yes, this is what you do. You don't need to, make yourself look big anymore. You're confident. You are Dwayne The Rock Johnson. And he uses that for really kind of positive things for other people, which is really, it's just nice.
It is nice. So good job, Rock. We like you. Yeah. You get 2 thumbs up. Thinking,
just in terms of you talking about his emotional attachment to this movie, I was listening to NPR a couple days ago, and they were interviewing the writer of Arrival. And one of the things that he was discussing...
I saw that this weekend.
You did?
Yeah, I did. Sorry, someone was at my window.
I figured. I didn't realize. Well, I'll finish my insight and then you can say what you thought of it. But they played a little clip of Amy Adams talking about that as well. And she was, saying, she's like, actually, you can kind of hear in her voice that she's crying a little bit in talking about it, and how she was like, it was so important to me to make this story about like this woman and everything. And that she was like, deep down, I look at it as like a mother's story first and foremost. And it was really important to me as a mother that she's like, you don't get to see moms like this in film, and she's like, that kind of deep down was what it meant to me. And so having those kinds of passion projects, where people get to feel like they're representing something of themselves, is so powerful. But what did you think of it?
I liked it. So we went and saw it on Saturday night. And there's a couple of parts that moved a little slow for me. But I think that's just the nature of they're trying to build this like suspense of like them going into the shit. And it looked really cool. I thought for me, I'm always fascinated by language, and I'm always really fascinated by people who like teach themselves language, you know?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I just can't comprehend how you do that. And so it was so interesting the way that someone came up with like how this, how they're going to communicate with these extraterrestrials, which was just cool. It was really cool. And I'm like, I was so fascinated by that. And yeah, the story is very much, I would say, a mother's story. And watching her, I was actually really impressed by her. I feel like really the only things I've seen her in are like Enchanted, are those things that you think of Amy Adams being like, whatever. And so seeing her as like someone who was like top of her field, like they've called her in to do this. And I liked it. Yeah. I enjoyed it. I don't want to, yeah, I liked it. I would recommend it. Yeah. Spoiler free. I enjoyed it. It's definitely like a thinking one.
Yeah.
I would say less of an escape movie.
Yeah. I considered going to see it today, and then I was like, nah, I need something to just make me jump a little bit. And
yeah, it's definitely more of a thinking movie. But it's very cool. And I think also, again, a little bit applicable to, how we treat things and people that we don't know anything about.
Yeah, and actually that was one of the things they were talking about in the NPR interview too. It's like this ends up being more timely and more appropriate than I'm sure you imagined when you were making this. And the guy's like, right. Yeah, we didn't want it to be this prescient, like
totally.
That wasn't the intention, but yes, it ends up sort of being a really good parallel in that way. And so obviously I haven't seen it, so I don't totally understand that yet, but I'm really looking forward to, seeing that when I'm in more of a headspace to watch something of that nature.
So yeah, totally. So anyway,
those NPR reviews,
I'll be interested.
I highly recommend listening to them talk about these things. Really, really quite nice.
Pretty cool.
What else do we have on our list?
Well, we actually, which was funny, when I went to see Arrival beforehand, there was a commercial trailer short clip for Taboo. And I think we talked about this a long time ago.
Yeah,
and
like
I'd be honest,
ages.
I'd forgotten about it, 100% forgotten about it. Yeah. And then Duncan actually posted, and I was like, yes, I saw something about this. Duncan had posted on our walls that it's gotten a release date for FX. So if you have forgotten, Taboo was the Tom Hardy movie. And so essentially the plot is that people thought he died in like Africa somewhere. Yeah. Like had gone on some sort of expedition and died there because he hasn't been seen for years. And looks like his father or someone has passed away, and he shows up back in London to kind of claim this inheritance. And people are like, what the F? And he's not the same as when he left. And I'm having a feeling he was also a little bit crazy before he left too.
Yeah.
But so the clip that I saw at the movie was the one where he's like, the thing you'll like know about me is that I'm, what is the word
he says? He doesn't have sense or something like that, or like,
yeah, I don't have any sense. And I was like,
what is that? What does that mean?
I don't know what's going on. And I'm like, I just am pumped. It looks crazy. It's got a ton of cool people in it. Yeah. I'm not entirely sure what the plot is, other than the fact that someone seems to not like him, maybe because he's trying to claim this inheritance that they think he shouldn't get because they thought he was dead earlier.
And he's on the wrong side of the East India Company somehow.
Right, but it has some sort of blackmail on them. And so it looks just so interesting. Yeah. He is obviously awesome sauce. And so we love Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy is like the most interesting man in the world, because here's the thing. Is like he comes across, and you remember we looked at like his MySpace photos and stuff like that he comes across as just like your standard hyper masculine tool, and he certainly had that side to him. It feels like he's come a long way since then. There are all kinds of things you can find on the internet about how he kind of burned bridges, and it was at the point where it was like he's never working in Hollywood or Britain ever again. He's still obviously come a long way, but he's still got that meathead look to him and all that. But then he is very, sensitive in other ways and takes on just roles that are on such different ends of the spectrum. I mean, and I really love that in what's the one with the Cray twins? I wanted to call
Legend.
it Cray because of Brienne's thing.
Oh my gosh, that's still one of the best jokes I've ever heard in my life. I'm not even kidding you.
But Legend, you know, when you have him playing these like two very different characters, you know, and the way that he responds to people's questions of him about, you know, his sexuality or what it's like working in a film about women or like things like that. And, you know, he's clearly just let himself become a very complex human being. And I think that we're so used to seeing actors and public figures who have a brand and are one thing, or I mean, like, I just don't think I'm that complex of a human. You know, I don't think I have all of those layers that Tom Hardy has. And the fact that he is so many people all at once makes him so interesting to watch, you know, and makes it so he can play someone who is unhinged like this. And you're like, you buy it because you feel like all of these are probably bits of things that he has in him that he's holding at bay.
That's it. That's what it is. Actually, you just nailed it right there. Is that I firmly believe that every character he plays, he relates to. And I know actors always say that, like, oh, you know, I related to this. I'm like, no. But he relates to like the parts that you don't want to admit that you relate to. So you're watching a movie and you're like, oh, I kind of, I kind of relate to that crazy, weird thing, that thing that he does. And he's like, oh yeah, like totally. And you're like, you can see it. Like as much as I love him, he disappeared in Legend for me.
Right.
I didn't see him one bit because he was like so completely both Ronald and Reginald at the same time. It was amazing to me. And I think he fully believed that, like, yes, I understand. I totally understand this person and I totally understand this person. And and because he can absorb himself like that, you lose him. You lose him.
Yes. Absolutely.
And it's just magnificent to watch. So yeah, I will continue just to watch anything he's in. And I still firmly believe there should be an Oscar of just the best Tom Hardy film from that year.
That's it.
Because like I said, everything I remember the first time I saw him was in Taylor, Tinker, Soldier, Spy.
Right.
And I didn't even know it was him, first of all, because I didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
And then like whenever it happened after that, and then I was like, wasn't that the guy from, and I had to go back and watch it. And I was like,
same dude.
Wait, that was him, because it's so starkly different. It's just amazing. And so I love him. And our friend Alex, we actually have a thread called Tom Hardy Updates, in which we just it's kind of gotten into some other things as well.
Not always about Tom Hardy, but that is
not always. But that's kind of the birthplace of like Tom Hardy, like holding dogs, and you're like, oh my gosh, I love you so. I don't know what it is, but I just. And his dub smash, remember when he did dub smash? I'm like,
see, and that's it. Like, he is the same guy sitting there cuddling dogs, the same guy doing dub smash, the same guy shooting down people for, you know, wanting him to fit into some box with a sexual orientation, the same guy in all of these sort of places. Like, he's intellectual, but he's like just dumb and brash, and he's, you know, you're just like,
who are you?
What?
That's what I want to ask him. I feel like if we ever got the chance. Yeah, who do you like? Not in like a sarcastic, bitchy way that people usually say, like, "Who do you think you are?" But literally,
like, legitimately,
actually, who do you think you are?
Right. If we ever get the opportunity.
And then I would read that Mara Wilson thing from The Toast, which I've saved on my phone. I've never deleted, when it's called "If Tom Hardy Was Your Boyfriend."
Yes.
And I would read him all of the statements, and I would say, "Tell me which of these are accurate.
Yeah. What are these? Which ones relate? Is this? Yeah.
Which ones are actually?"
That's a good way to go about it. Actually, I think. Yeah. I think you're onto something through that list and see.
Oh gosh, just magical. It's magical, you guys. So anyway, check out Taboo. It's best Tom Hardy. It comes out in January on FX, if you have FX. I actually don't have it, so I don't know how this is going to be a thing that we do. But
this is where we find someone who has it and go to their house.
Yeah. I bet Tom's going to record it. We should just go to his house.
Yeah. There we go.
That's something Tom would watch,
100%. Definitely. Yeah. Riggsy, we're coming over.
We're coming over, Riggs. And then final thing, just to end on a happy note, I know we talk about Lin-Manuel Miranda a lot because we love him so much. Actually, Brian pointed out, he's like, I didn't realize how much you like him until I went on your Facebook, and there's like a lot of stuff about Lin-Manuel Miranda. And I was like, yeah. So he was on Ellen this week, and he's telling the story of how they went to Austria after, he was done doing Hamilton. They took a family vacation, and they went to Europe, and he's like, yeah, we actually went to Austria and did the Sound of Music tour, because he said growing up, that was what we watched. My dad loves Sound of Music. So if you guys don't follow Luis Miranda, you should, because he's like the most dad ever.
And can I just say before we continue this too, that like when I first saw the clips, Kristen had posted them so like in chronological order, but I was looking at them backwards on her page. So I saw the clip we will discuss first and just assumed that this was all Lynn's doing.
Yeah.
And then I remembered how amazing his father is.
Yeah. And so apparently his father hired a film crew. Now there's like 15 Puerto Ricans, right? So this massive Puerto Rican family is in Austria on the Sound of Music tour. They go through the tour, and then Luis Miranda hires a film crew to film them singing Do Re Mi in all of the places where they filmed Do Re Mi in the movie, right? And it's so incredible because Luis is really the only one who's into it. Everyone else is
everyone else is just sort of there. Like even Lin-Manuel is kind of like,
it's like,
this is happening.
Dear God, what? And like he like messes up the words, and he's like, no, Pop, like, no, that's not how it, And he's like, okay, let's try again. And so he like starts singing it, and I think my favorite person is, it must be some sort of uncle. It's that older gentleman with the beard and the shorts who, like, when the family's prancing through the field, he's like following behind like this. Like, what the F are we doing right now? I was like, that guy is my life. I love him so much. But it's so great because it's Luis Manuel singing all these because he just loves it. And at the end, he's like, oh, bucket list. And he checks it off. And I'm like, it's now not surprising that your son is so wonderful because this is the most dad thing I've ever seen.
It's hereditary.
Like, trudged his family through this thing, and they are just like so embarrassed. I mean, they are just so embarrassed.
Like clearly,
it's happening.
It's like, oh gosh, but it's so adorable, you guys. It will warm your heart. I mean, we talked about when I found months ago the. Was it L'Chaim video? What was it that?
It was from his wedding.
Yeah, from Lin-Manuel's wedding when they did all that. And that was like so delightful and happy and wonderful and just makes your heart so warm. And this is just another one of those moments where you're just like, this is a dad, a grandpa, taking all these kids and everything out and getting to live this thing because his son has made it good enough that they can take 15 family members, 20 family members or whatever to Austria. And he can see all the things that, he loved from this movie, and he has the opportunity to recreate it. And as loath to do it, as you can tell, as embarrassed as they all are, they did it because they clearly love him and feel that he deserves to have this. Like
he worked hard for this, you guys.
Yeah. Like, we will do this for you because we love you. But
we hate it. We'll wear these hats, like he's got the hat, you guys. And what is he? And Ellen, he even calls him, Lynn calls him he calls him crazy Puerto Rican Maria Von Trapp. I think is what he calls him. Like in his mind, he's like, in my dad's mind, he's Maria Von Trapp. So this was like his moment, It
was so,
oh my gosh,
it's so great.
It's wonderful. So if you're looking for something to heal your cracked old soul, watch this video and you will be healed and it will be magical. So that's it. That's all we have for today. Thank you guys.
Felt good, Kristen. It felt good.
It felt good to be back. I feel like we haven't done like a real,
like a regular recap,
kind of a while. Like a regular recap of things. So as per usual, you guys can rate and review us on iTunes. You'll find us on YouTube. Check out the blog. We'll link to all of the things at electricfeast.com. So you can check that out. Follow us on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook for updates and just fun things that we like to post because why not? Yeah, that's what we do because we have no lives. Just kidding. We have lots of lives. That's it. So anything else?
I feel good.
So?
Nope.
Okay. So for now and for today, I'm Kristen Latterell.
I'm Corrigan Vaughn. Peace out,
Take it
everybody.
easy, kids.
Ooh.